Erin Stahl, 20113 Havilland, and I signed in tonight. I forgot to do that last night.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I did miss the first 5 minutes of the first candidate, and but I want to thank Councilwoman Rusi for asking the question if they saw the interview on the live link. And then I just have a request. I know I mentioned it last night, but before selecting the candidates on Monday, I kind of changed this around a little bit, but if you could go over Mercer's selection, not the piece of paper that says how they chose the candidates, but specifically and exactly why they excluded certain candidates, why they included certain candidates, specific qualities that those people had. You can do it in general, but I think the community needs to know that. And I know the last candidate that was probably really hard to explain. I'd really like to hear the council's side of that. He gave a very good explanation here, but there's always two sides to the story. And, you know, one time, two times, three times, it's kind of frightening, but it's also, it makes me question Mercer's choice, or the Mercer group, because they're not related to Mercer, but the Mercer group's choice, again, in having him as one of the finalists for you guys to narrow down. It makes me question it again. So going back to my request is listing out those specific qualities to narrow down those 20, the candidates, and then also council, the acting city manager, the attorney, and anybody else really need to let our community know and disclose any interactions that you guys had with the candidates or the Mercer group, other than the normal phone interview. I don't want to have another, Ben Hughes where we find out some things afterwards. But for full disclosure, if you had any other, don't be shaking your head. No, if you had any other,
Everything's bad, Erin. Everything's horrible.
Come on, Mr. Rubino.
obviously you don't want a high standard
Well,
of
I didn't talk to
transparency.
anybody. And you can throw out garbage all night. You always do.
Mr. Rubino.
Wow, is there something to disclose? The defensiveness is overwhelming. But anyways, just to, if anybody had any interaction with the candidates or the Mercer group, just to disclose it, just like the last candidate did with disclosing his the firings at his last 3 jobs. And it's a simple request. Your actions are horrible, but thank you.
Not nearly as horrible
All right, thank
as
you.
yours, Erin.
Thank you, Ms. Stahl.
You make up
We don't have
stories.
another ethics.
No, she makes up stories constantly.
Pete.
It's becoming a running show.
Pete, we
Move to
please.
adjourn.
I asked
haven't
the
given
question.
anyone the floor
Oh,
at this
I'm
point.
sorry.
So,
I still got 50 seconds left.
Then stand there.
Pete, please.
I had a request, and your defensiveness is just absolutely incredible.
Well, your aggressiveness and your insinuations
Please,
are more.
please, Mr. Rubino.
Don't let this be another thing like the ethics committee where you threw my
Yeah,
stuff
like
in the
when
garbage.
Like when you played.
And you
Erin,
got
we
the
can do this all
emails,
night.
Come on, Mr. Rubino, please.
and you knew that I didn't.
Yeah, please.
Anyways,
20 seconds.
I'm hoping that you do have my request. It's just for full disclosure, full transparency, and if anybody's defensive about it, then that's on them.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you, Ms. Stahl. Mr. Rubino moved to adjourn. Supported by Mr. Frederick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Good night.